Okay, so BMW X5 E53 model car radio, original equipment from the manufacturer. So I'm sure this radio was awesome back in the days, and there's a few gadgets I've tried to use to bolster how it works, so to try and get Bluetooth working on it. So things like the Spinvox, which I'll talk about in another video. But I think it's done its time. Basically, I need to upgrade it, and I could, the one I've got right now stopped working, so it isn't great. This is really dated technology. It looks really cool, but it's really dated technology. It's got things like the cassette deck coming out at the back there. I don't know if some of you will even know what a cassette is. It's very old music technology, but no CD player, no Bluetooth. Very, very basic setup that we've got there. And there's features that it had. So it had things like sat nav. That's not working on my car anymore. So it's basically been sort of falling apart over time. And I could easily change it for any other radio, to be honest. I mean, it's got things like you could watch television on this, which is very, very cutting edge back in the days when these cars were released back in 1999. That obviously doesn't work. That's analog TV. And obviously we're now on digital, so that's not working anymore. Telephone does still work. It's got an onboard computer. It sounds really cool, but it's some really basic stuff here going on. Obviously radio is the key thing there. My radio isn't working anymore. As I said, this has all been falling apart over time. So the conundrum I have is I need to replace the radio, but I don't want to replace it with some Kenwood or something else like that. I'd love to replace it with a modern BMW radio that fits in this. And obviously BMW doesn't make any for the E53. The ones for later versions are obviously equipped to work with the later versions. So I thought I had no choice but to kind of get a radio that doesn't really sort of belong in that space. But before doing that, as most of you probably know, watching this video, there's so much information online. I just sort of looked around to see if there's anyone else who's had the same sort of situation as mine. And there's a whole company that's set up to do almost similar or emulation equipment. So getting a radio that actually looks and feels like an E53 radio, except it comes with all the bells and whistles you'd expect in a modern car radio. So Bluetooth, sat nav, voice recognition, connectivity to your smartphone. So exactly what I'm looking for. And effectively this video is just talking about that equipment, why I went for it. And hopefully later on, when I finally get it installed, I'll also do another video once it's in the car. But so far so good. So the next video I'll just be showing you exactly, or the next chapter to this, I'll show you what it looks like, this new radio that looks and feels like a BMW radio for the E53 and has all the bells and whistles that I'm looking for. So, trying to find a solution, I went online, as most people would do, and just typed BMW X5 E53 car radio. Okay, so the search brought back quite a number of results, lots of different images that show me kind of what I'm looking for really. And just to cut a long story short, I searched around, looked around at different suppliers of these things, and came through all the way to start looking at a company called Eonon. And obviously there's reams of results that came back, so this took a while to find this company, but they are a product manufacturer, and they also specialize in products for like BMWs, Audis, that sort of thing. So when I go to products here, you can drill into which range of products you're looking for, and kind of found that they had lots of car radios for the BMW, for different versions of the BMW. So you have to specifically find the one that you're interested in. So here's one of the E53 Android Lollipop version here. So that's one of the versions that's there, and it's running on an Android CPU, but it looks and feels like a BMW sort of radio. So you've actually got a choice on the different models you could potentially go for here. I went for one that was, let's find the one I went for here. So E53, I think this is the one here, the D5166XE. So obviously you'll have to spend your time trying to work out which model is right for you, but it's nice to have a choice, right? So in terms of different options for the type of radio that you need. So this is the one that I kind of settled on and I purchased. It came closest to the kind of stuff that I needed. So they've got, you know, great imagery here that talks about what it looks and feels like. So over here you can see the layout is quite similar to the original radio. So you've got the rectangular buttons on the sides here with a large screen and rectangular, the two knobs on each end. So again, it looks and feels like the actual original product, even through to sort of BMW logos, which is cool. You won't just get that from a Kenwood or whatever other type of radio manufacturers there. Nothing against Kenwood, of course, just trying to talk about why this is more tailored towards BMW. And you can also see like the LED colors there, they're different, but these ones here, the orange is the same shade of orange as BMW. So again, bringing in these little sort of features that make it feel like a product that belongs within that car. So going down to the features, again, reassuring you that it's the right kind of model for your car, and they've got a nice image of the E53 there and all the different features that they've got. And you scroll through, this is an interesting part over here because your radio can either be at the front or the back of the E53 depending on what you've got, something called DSP. If you've got DSP, it tends to be at the back of in the trunk. So I'm not talking about the interface, but the actual radio, the bigger part of the mechanics of the radio can be stored in the bonnet, or they can be stored in the front. If yours is a DSP, it's more likely to be stored in the bonnet, in which case from the interface you'll need a cable that takes you all the way back to the actual radio system itself. So in some cases Eonon has a sale where they'll throw that cable in for free. In other cases you'll have to buy it. So again, they're showing a before and after. Obviously my car radio is the bigger version of this radio here, so some people might have the smaller version, but as you can see, the sachet there, or the cradle for the radio, is about the size of the actual radio that you're buying here. So it slots in perfectly into that space because obviously it's been built and customized for the E53, so it'll fit in very nicely. You've got different customization options, so you've got your standard BMW blue. You can also change to other colors that you want for that. So again, if you're trying to keep it authentic, you can. If you want to divert from that a little bit, you can. Being able to sync your phone to the radio is a great feature. Making phone calls is, again, all the kind of stuff you expect from a modern car system, but obviously this is being put into your E53. So again, very, very useful tools. DVB-T tuners there and everything, all this good features. Some of them I don't even know what they are, but the stuff that I was really interested in was stuff like being able to control the radio, like your volume and skipping tracks from your steering wheel. That's what you can do with the standard manufacturer version. So the fact that I can still continue to do that with this version is awesome. The fact that I can also chuck in some memory in there if I needed to. It's a bit of a computer in its own right, so you can even do software upgrades in the same version, which is pretty cool. Dimmer, again, is standard. Again, you can change the LEDs of the back. I'm always going to stick to orange because that's quite similar to what the previous one had. But if you fancy a bit of purple, you can switch it to that, which again is a nice customization feature. GPS navigation system, again, you know, the previous version or the original one had that as an option if you wanted that. This is great to see that you can also have that built in, so you're not relying on having a connection to the internet to be able to use Google Maps, for example. You can just be on the system already. Now, I won't lie to you, obviously the imagery of this navigation system looks a bit retro, but hey, it's nice to have. It's not any worse than what you had in the original radio anyway. But the great thing about this is, of course, you can also update your map and your road networks just by using those SD slots, which is fantastic. 3D and 2D views of the road network there is also great. Points of interest, all the standard stuff you'd expect from the map. As I say, the look and feel could be better, but you know, I can live with that. So let's skip past those images. So this is the kind of stuff in terms of the cables that you get. So there's other features like text to speech. I quite like that. You know, speed camera alerts. Again, it's all used on data that you can download, so it's much better than the original one, which wouldn't have any of these features in there really. And then they go into some really technical detail on how you hook all this up, or the different parts of the radio that you've purchased are. This is the extension cable I was talking about earlier on. In this case, currently, they've got a, you know, it comes free and included within that. So just in case you need it, it's already part of that if you buy it in this month, for example, but the offers come and go. So I had to purchase mine. I purchased my radio quite some time ago. Actually, I've been looking for someone to do the installation. I'm not great at this kind of stuff in terms of getting under the hood and taking the car apart. I'm just more of a plug and play kind of guy, so I'll need to get someone to do this for me, albeit the instructions seem pretty clear and straightforward for someone who gets their hands dirty in this way. So I had to find someone to put it in for me. I've actually found someone. I haven't had the chance to get the radio in, but I've bought it. So the next section here will just be showing you what I got. Bought it from these guys, these Eonon guys. They were very quick to deliver, great customer service, i.e. they were emailing me to say your product is on its way, it should arrive at this point in time. Are you happy with the product? Can you give us some feedback? So they've also got some UK representation as well, which is great. So a local, to get someone local, which is great to just have a quick support call with is always useful. But yeah, so great, looks like a great product, packed to the rim with features, really. So more than I was expecting, so I'm quite chuffed about that and can't wait to get it into the car. Okay, so here's the box. Pretty big box, just it arrived through, and it's quite a simple thing. Obviously I've had this for a little while, just haven't got around to putting it in. So made in China, Eonon, black box, nice sort of packaging there, nice and simple thing. But yeah, I like the packaging. Looks like a pretty cool start to it. And obviously when you open, one of the first thing I noticed here was obviously the one of the SD cards that's provided, just taped on there, and you can see GPS maps on there. I've obviously opened this one before, so it's not like your typical unboxing videos, but again, because I haven't put it into the car as yet, it's just lots of stuff is still in the same way that it was received. So I say it's not sort of organized like this. It was much neater when it arrived. But let's just go through what we've got in here. So let me just lay this stuff out. Take me a second. So I've taken a bunch of stuff out of the packaging. There's some user manuals here, or in different languages, a few other leaflet guides and so on, and lots of different cables and so on. Some interesting pieces here. So one of the sort of near field communication tap-ons that you put into your vehicle. Also a bit of a remote control as well, from what I can see. So again, it looks pretty cool. Eonon branded there, and there's a microphone piece here, I guess, for when you're making phone calls and the like. A few other pieces here, and over here is the sort of a GPS receiver, GPS antenna, that I guess will be all kind of covered when you're installing it in. I don't know what that is, but lots of cool looking stuff here to get the whole thing to work, I think. But the main piece from all of this, of course, is this center console here, and to be quite honest, it looks and feels a lot better than I imagined, to be fair. And it's bigger than the images look, but obviously it's the right size to fit into the caddy, so it looks really, really cool. The finish is good. I mean, you can feel it is a bit plasticky, but it is a good finish as far as the quality is concerned. It seems quite simple here. It's just the back unit here, obviously designed to fit straight into the cradle of the BMW radio sashi. So all in all, it looks pretty sweet, so to say. As I say, it's when you get the actual physical product where you think, actually, that looks really good. Quite impressed by that. Obviously, the whole thing's going to be about backing, getting it into the cradle and testing it out, but so far so good. And over here, there's the leaflet again, talking about the company and so on. Obviously, this is the kind of stuff you typically throw away, but it was quite interesting to know how long they've been in operation, the kind of projects they're doing, and other things that they are looking to do in research and development, and the different countries that they operate in. And again, obviously, there's the UK there for local reference if you are in the UK. But yeah, so far so good. So just looking for someone then to put it into the car, but it looks pretty premium. It does really look like the actual original product, the original BMW. Of course, it's branded Eon on the front there, but I think I'd be quite happy to replace the BMW radio with this, specifically because it looks and feels like it belongs in the car. So obviously the proof is in the pudding. So once we actually get it into the car, then it will be worthwhile doing another video and just talking about the experience at that point and how it performs. So I haven't got that done yet, of course, but as it's sitting out here with us now, as soon as I do, I'll post up another video and just talk about how that experience is and the sound and the features and all that kind of stuff, because I'm quite looking forward to that. So thanks a lot for watching, and obviously if you want to see that next video, feel free to subscribe. Cheers.